Hey there, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something quiet. It's a feeling that's so often invisible, but man, it's felt so deeply. We're going to dive into these stories of solitude that are happening all around us, every single day, in the lives of people we see all the time.
So let's start with this. Just for a second, I want you to picture someone. Maybe it's a street vendor, out there in the heat or the cold. Someone just working tirelessly, giving it everything they've got. This isn't just about a job, right? It's this constant, relentless act of will. It's about pouring every ounce of themselves into what they do, usually for someone else.
And that right there, that leads us straight to our first big idea, the burden of providing. I mean, think about it. It's this incredible weight, this expectation that we and, society as a whole put on people to be the provider, the rock, the one who has to come through no matter what. And for so many people, this isn't just part of their life. It becomes their whole identity. You know the drill. Wake up, work, come home exhausted, and then do it all over again the next day. Your whole life starts to feel like it's measured in hours on the clock and bills you've paid. It's just a life completely shaped by that labor. But here's the thing that's so important to get. This burden, it's usually carried in total silence. It's like this quiet, constant pressure that's just always there, humming in the background of every single moment. It's that unspoken responsibility, the one that sits on your shoulders every day, with no breaks and, often, with no complaints.
So this silent struggle, it doesn't just happen in a bubble, right? It's constantly being watched and judged by everyone else. And that brings us to our next point, which we're calling the measure of a man. But really, it's about how we measure the worth of any person who's carrying this kind of weight.
Okay, look at this because this contrast is just, wow. On one side, you have what people are judged for, all the things they couldn't provide, the perceived failures. It's all about their transactional value. But then look at the other side, what they're never judged for, their blood and sweat. The actual effort they put in. It's like all that hard work, all that sacrifice, it's just invisible. Their entire worth gets boiled down to a transaction.
And what's the result of all that? Well, when the only thing that matters is the final outcome, the process itself becomes worthless. All that effort just vanishes. And this leads to this deep, hollowing feeling inside. That feeling that no matter how hard you push, no matter what you sacrifice, the appreciation for it, it just never comes. So, everything we've talked about, all that judgment from the outside world, it creates a really powerful reality on the inside. And this brings us to our final idea, a solitude of the heart. And this isn't about, being physically alone in a room. No, this is about that deep feeling of being completely unseen, even when you're surrounded by people.
Just let that sink in for a second. Never been gifted a flower. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But think about what a flower means. You don't get one for doing a job. It's not a payment. It's a gesture of pure, simple appreciation, of beauty, of care. To have gone through life without that, it speaks to an existence that's just missing those small, beautiful moments of kindness that aren't about a transaction.
And it's the same thing with this one, never been called beautiful. Look, this has nothing to do with vanity or looks. It's about being seen for who you are deep down, for the soul behind all the work. It's that deep ache of just wanting to be valued for being you, not for what you can provide. So it all comes down to this, doesn't it? A question for all of us to really think about. How do we learn to offer that flower? How do we, as people, as friends, as family, learn to see the person behind the role they play? How do we start acknowledging the effort before we look at the result? And how do we give appreciation that has absolutely nothing to do with a transaction?
Okay, I know this is all pretty heavy stuff, and talking about it can be tough, but it's so important. We really believe that understanding these things starts with having a place where it's safe to just think about them, a place to reflect on these quiet stories. You could call it a comforting space.
And honestly, that is exactly what we're trying to build here. That's the whole point. We want to create a space for exactly this kind of reflection, for empathy, and for trying to understand these deeper human feelings that, well, they just don't get talked about enough.
It really is about carving out a little corner for ourselves, just a place to get away from all the noise and the judgment of everyday life, a place where you can just be and listen and maybe feel a little more understood.
So, if this feels like the kind of space you'd like to be a part of, we'd love for you to subscribe. We put out daily shorts and frequent videos just like this.
And hey, you can also connect with us and the community over on Instagram and Facebook. We're Silhouette Lures. Or you can check out our webpage at silures.github.io. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, for just holding this space. Be kind to yourself, and please, be kind to the people around you. And remember to offer that flower, whatever that looks like for you, because you just never ever know whose heart has been waiting for one.